and welcome to the Medina County Career Center regular board meeting Tuesday, April 25th, 2023. May I have us all join for the Pledge of Allegiance? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Right, roll call.
Mrs. Dane?
Here.
Mr. Gillingham?
Here.
Mr. Huska?
Here.
Mr. Nowak?
Here.
Ms. Pritchard?
Here.
Mrs. Pavlik?
Here.
Mr. Kieran?
Here.
Mr. Stiver?
Here.
Mr. Matz?
Here, thank you. The mission statement, as always, we are a learning community providing students with a competitive advantage through career technical education and academic excellence. So focus on our meeting on that every month. Thank you. Consent agenda. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I would like to pull two items to talk about separately: the adult education tuition and the job description for the executive assistant to the superintendent. That's in 10, section 10, items B and D.
E and D.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to make B a separate item
Right.
and D a separate item.
Right.
So let's move out of state professional development to B and make B C and then D.
I would also like to break out an item. Under the superintendent action items, I'd like to break out the personnel separately. And I'd like to have some discussion on that.
So we're going to get the last one, Val, in the action items. Now that is,
It's not in.
right, so we move right there, we separate like that. Okay. So I need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second, Robert. Okay, so we have several changes from two board members. Any questions or comments or objections to those breaking them out? None being heard, may I have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Pavlik?
Aye.
Mr. Gillingham?
Aye.
Mrs. Dane?
Aye.
Mr. Huska?
Aye.
Mr. Nowak?
Aye.
Ms. Pritchard?
Aye.
Mr. Kieran?
Aye.
Mr. Stiver?
Aye.
Mr. Matz?
Aye, thank you so much. Number 3, public participation. This is the time of the meeting where members of the community may address the Board of Education. If you'd like to speak to us, please state your name, the community from where you live, and you can address to at least 3 minutes. That's it. If anybody for public participation? None being here, we're going to move on to number 4, the next regularly scheduled board meeting. We will have our award ceremony on May 18th, 2023. Mr. Superintendent, what time would you like us to be here?
No later than 6:30.
6:30 on May 18th. Thank you. And our regular scheduled meeting will be,
Mr. President, my schedule has changed. I unfortunately will not be able to attend the award ceremony. I'm going to be driving a car out to Arizona. So, yes.
you know,
Yeah, I will not be there.
okay, and then we have our May 23rd, 2023 will be our regular scheduled meeting here at the Career Center. Number 5, educational presentations.
Okay, every April, we recognize our Students of the Month, and our Student of the Month coordinator is Jody Toddy, and she's here somewhere. So, Jody, if you want to take it from there, and then you can bring up your Students of the Month.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for, once again, every year having us here. We're kind of a diminished group this year, but I would like to thank everyone for having us here this year. And some of the good reasons why some of our students are not here, we have 2 at Skill State competition, and actually 2 are sick, right? So, but anyway, 2 are in competition, so that's a good reason to not be here. Okay, so you guys have seen their bios every month. Corinne is our September student of the month. Good. Okay, Monica is our October student of the month. Levi could not be here. Levi was our November student of the month. For December, Devin Douglas could also not be here. He's one of the ones at Skills. Anna could not be here. She was our January. Thank you. February, Emily's here. Emily Fritz. And Trista Abby is here. She was our March student of the month. And do you have, okay, April is Erin Niemeyer. Okay. All right, so I want to take a minute for these guys to kind of talk about themselves. So what do you normally have them talk about, Mr. Chrisman? Their homeschool,
Their homeschool program and what you're going to do in the near future.
My name is Corinne Haverny. I saw you all in September, but it's nice to see you again. I am from Medina. I am in the Diversified Medical Technologies program, and I am going to attend Baldwin Wallace University's Honors College for nursing and a pre-physician assisted track.
And have you done anything cool in that pre-physicians?
I have.
That's a loaded question. Tell them what happened.
I went to shadow Mr. Chrisman's daughter, Brooke, because she is a physician assistant for a spinal orthopedic surgeon. So it was very, very cool experience. I got to take out stitches out of someone, so it was very, very good experience.
I'm Emily. I'm from Cloverleaf. I'm in the Vision Care program, and I plan to attend Marietta College, majoring in biochemistry with a free optometry track.
Hi, I'm Trista Abby. I'm from Buckeye. I'm also in the Diversified Medical Technologies class. I plan on studying pre-medicine at Penn State Berks.
Hi, I'm Monica. I'm a senior from Brunswick, and I'm in the cosmetology program. I'm already a licensed cosmetologist, and after school I plan on continuing with the workforce, and I plan on being at Vita Bella Salon and Spa, which is in Brunswick.
Before, we usually take a break and have them speak with their homeschool board members. I'm going to do something a little bit different from the past. Tomorrow we have our luncheon, which is when I usually announce the student of the year, which is chosen from one of our monthly winners. But we have so many that can't come tomorrow, and the parents are here tonight, so I figured this was a better venue for this. So what I'm going to do, and please bear with me, because I'm going to read through this person's biography, and of course you're going to know who it is, but anyway, this just brings home the point of how wonderful they are. And they are all wonderful. Okay, so our student of the year. She currently serves as vice president of her class, and she served as secretary of the class last year, and is team leader for Mccc HOSA. She's a dietary service trainer at Western Reserve Masonic Temple Community. She has played volleyball for 4 years as team captain of her 10 volleyball team. She plays with Strongsville Women's League. She's a member of Girls Leadership Club and Huddle, her home school. She's an assistant coach for 7th and 8th grade volleyball teams at Medina Middle School, is an assistant coach for Tandem Volleyball Club, and her volunteer activities include going on a mission trip to Peru, serving as a volunteer for Ace for Grace, and at the Weymouth Society of Handicapped Citizens Luncheon and Fashion Show. She currently volunteers at Cleveland Clinic Hospital. She's been on the honor roll all 4 years of high school, was a star student as a junior and a senior, and was inducted into NTHS as a junior. At the HOSA competition, she placed first at regionals in forensic science, third at state competition, and finished in the top 30 at international competition in Nashville, Tennessee as a junior. As a senior, she placed first in clinical nursing at regionals, third place at state, and will be an international competitor this year. Academically, she's taking AP Stats, AP Chemistry, CCP Medical Terminology, CCP Composition, CCP Psychology, and CCP Sociology through Lorraine Community College. She is a teaching assistant through DMT, through which she helps teach the juniors the state-tested nursing assistant materials and skills, and also completed the new medical terminology course slideshows for future DMT students. Our student of the year is Corinne Haverny. our luncheon, I will have gifts for you all, and you'll get a plaque. So anticlimactic tomorrow, but wonderful tonight. So, and Mrs. Ritz, thank you for coming. Her instructor is here tonight. Thank you. You can take a break.
Thank you.
Don't go around, shake your guys' hand. That's good.
All right.
And then Corinne and Trista, I always call her Tabby, but this is Tia. They're going to do a little presentation for you guys as well. Or you want to do that first? Let's do that first. Do the presentation first.
Okay. We wanted to thank you all for our new equipment that we received this year. So this is a thank you from everyone in our lab, both juniors and seniors this year. We're so beyond thankful for all the new equipment you provided us with. We love everything, and it couldn't have happened without you. We appreciate you all. Thank you for your efforts.
Can you give them some examples of things that you've added to your lab?
We've got new beds, new dressers, curtains,
New bedside chairs, new vital sign monitors,
Yes.
which are very right. New 12-lead EKGs. And we got new phlebotomy chairs and a new centrifuge. So.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Yeah. If you want to just take a second to go around, shake everybody's hand.
Congratulations.
Congratulations and best of luck.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations and the best of luck.
Thank you.
Now, all right, you want to Okay, the next presentation is a presentation by our diesel technology students. And there's 4 of them here currently, and their instructor is Nathan Whitney. So I'm going to turn it over to Nathan, and he's going to bring up 4 students, and then there will be a short break after that.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Welcome. Thanks for having us here tonight. You're probably wondering why are there 5 diesel mechanics standing here tonight. Couple reasons. First of all, I wanted to thank you guys for a new piece of equipment in our lab, the simulator, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. But I actually came to this school. I graduated in 2000 with Mr. Jackson, who's my instructor. And in 1998, they started this Think Big program, which we're going to talk about tonight. I was in the first class that was ever taken out of this school to get that 2-year scholarship program with Caterpillar through Owens Community College. And so for me, it's just kind of something that's dear to my heart, and we've got multiple recipients this year. We'll go into why that's important a little bit, the competitiveness of that. But I'm going to turn it over to these guys. We've got 4 guys here, and 3 guys, and Derek, our only female student in the class. She put up with a lot.
She runs the class.
What's that?
She runs the class.
Yeah. She's like the dead mother. So I'll start with you, Jacob, and just go on down and say who you are and all that.
Hello, my name is Jacob Fabian. I'm from Brunswick. A little about myself is I actually, before joining the Career Center, have done no mechanic work at all, anything like that. The only thing I knew is you press the gas pedal, the car went forward, and you hit the brake and stop. That's pretty much it. So it's really lovely to see you all here tonight, and also have with you guys' support, growing my knowledge in the mechanic field and now to the place where I am today.
My name is Luke Osterling. I'm a senior in the diesel tech program as well, and I'm homeschooled, and I'm currently working at B&K Truck Repair in Casey. I'm James Nispeka, in diesel, and a senior. I went to Cloverleaf, and I work for my family's company, Mac Concrete, and I plan to go to CAT and go back to them.
I'm Derek Klein. I'm from Cloverleaf. I've been around this industry my entire life. He was my father. I loved it. Always wanted to be in it. Just continued my education. And I work at General Maintenance and that.
All right, thank you. So they've got a little PowerPoint presentation for you here. Anybody here familiar with the Think Big program at all through CAT? Heard of it, know about it, you, okay. So they're gonna talk a little bit about that and leave some time for questions at the end. So I'm gonna step out of the way because I'm kind of
All right, so let's get started here. So it takes place up in Perrysburg, Ohio, which is near the Toledo area. And then on the semester basis, the first 8 weeks are spent up at the Owens Community College, where we attend the CAT course, where it is similar to what we do here at the Career Center, where we have a theory, and then we would go into their shop and then work on equipment there. But then we also attend some of our academic courses. And then the second 8 weeks is the very special part, where we recently got a sponsorship from one of the branches of Caterpillar, where then we move out from Owens Community College, go back to our homes, and then actually attend their branch, working there for a paycheck. All right, so after 5 semesters, we graduate. It's very lovely because it's kind of a quick thing, and they really take care of you. They teach you all they can, and then they put you right out into the workforce. And one of the special things that they do is they do tuition reimbursement, and it's very important. 100% reimbursement is possible depending on your GPA, excuse me. And I'm pretty sure that it's 3.5 or above. You do receive the 100% reimbursement. And then at least 60% is guaranteed, which is around the 2.5 GPA mark. And then we all graduate with an associate's degree in the applied science of diesel mechanics. And then, as I mentioned, we do have employment there. And then after we graduate, we have the opportunity for full-time employment after we graduate.
So, just to give you guys an idea of some of the things that they cover, as he said, full tuition reimbursement. But they also, this year, upped what they cover around $6,000 in just general fees, stuff like parking permits and just random stuff that were originally costs to the students that now they cover. As well as they upped the pay while working those 8 weeks off in the dealerships. So starting at $20 an hour, and then your second year making $22.
that actually you guys just found out about that after you were accepted here. It was just recently they said, hey, we're going to help you out a little more. So.
And then just to give you guys an idea of applying for the scholarship, this is before interviews and stuff, was, so all the students are pulled from tri-state area, and in the last 22 years, there have been 24 students total taken from the Career Center that have been accepted in the program. Of course, the first one being Mr. Whitney here. It is a minimum 3.0 GPA just to apply, and then maximum of 10 excused absences, as well as passing a drug test. So the interview process, you have to submit your application and have a resume attached, and you need 3 letters of recommendation, whether it's from a teacher, a former coach, employer, that sort of thing. And your transcripts, portfolio, shot work, pictures of what you do, things you're interested in, why you want to be in the CAT program. And you'd have to interview 2 people, so it'd be 2 separate interviews to go through the process for them to accept it.
oddball out. I decided to go to Oklahoma State Institute of Technology. Their process is a little different. It's the same qualifications. You have to have a 3.0, 3.0, 3.5 higher GPA, background check, drug test. The way you apply for this school is you apply to the college, you get accepted into the college, and then you have to apply to a dealership. The Oklahoma school works with a couple different dealerships. They work with Warren, Briggs, and Medina Machinery. Once you get an application into the dealership and you get accepted into that, you go through an interview process, like a normal job. That's fun stuff. Like I said, there's qualifications are just not the same. The schooling, same, 2 months into the shop, 2 months into the school. Don't really think there's much difference other than it's 13 hours away.
A lot of similarities there. So the Think Big would be our regional program that Ohio Cat set up. The tri-state area they're talking about would be out of Kentucky, West Virginia, and Kentucky, Indiana, and Ohio. So just to give you guys an idea of, the competitive nature of that, and I couldn't tell you exactly how many career centers in that tri-state area, but a lot. And, the fact that we've had this school alone since 2024, now 28 accepted, that's saying a lot. The one thing that kind of threw me off guard this year, you guys got to know these individuals a little bit. When I saw who I had coming in to apply, I'm just like, oh dear, this could be, because traditionally they accepted one student a year. A couple years they took 2 out of our program alone, because remember they're pulling out of a large area. And so when I had these ones come, and I'm just like, this isn't good, I'm not going to make this decision, hoping I didn't have to, because usually HR at Ohio Cat is going to be doing that. And so if they look for recommendation, they'll email the instructor or call the instructor and say, hey, we're kind of torn between these two, what do you think? So I was dreading that decision. And much to my surprise, all 3 that applied locally got accepted. And actually the HR guy over there at Ohio Cat, his response was, man, you made it to where we couldn't decide this year, So they actually took all 3, which has never happened before. And then Derek, same thing. I told her, I said, dude, that was pretty smart of you. As far as looking around with the amount of applicants we had, and she kind of wanted to go to Oklahoma anyway, so we thought, okay, I'll just head out there and do it. But that's the difference. The Think Big would be like our regional program. I'm not even sure exactly what Oklahoma State would call theirs. It's
Cat Dealer Prep.
Cat Dealer Prep, okay, that's right. And so, very similar, you just kind of have to seek out your own sponsorship from a dealer, whereas here, Ohio Cat is kind of the ones going around gathering people. So, James, you got one more slide, right?
If you guys have any questions, yeah, answer those.
Do most of you, when you get through with the program, do you work for CAT? I mean, is that, if you're successful in the program?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
You want to take that? Okay.
With a lot of us, we go to school for the 2 years and then we'll sign a contract with CAT saying, okay, we're going to work for this long, and then once that contract's up, it's up to you to stay there or not.
And that's something that's changed. Like when I went, it was, we could have come out of the program and left. Now it's a 2.5 year, agreement where if you're not there that time, you would owe back some tuition. But the nice thing is it's guaranteed employment for at least 2.5 years, right? So that's the whole intent, and they kind of weed out in the program if your grades aren't where they need to be, they will ask you to leave if you're not serious about it. So,
What type of tuition that would require that they would have to pay if they did these?
you're saying if they were going on their own to do it?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So Owens actually does have just a general diesel program as well. Tuition-wise, you're talking in the neighborhood of, for the year, the way they do their 8 weeks on, 8 weeks off, think it was around like 8 to 10,000 roughly per year, so around 16 to 20,000 by the time you're done, because, you know, they got all the academics and stuff as well, so they're coming out with associate's degrees. So it's a big opportunity. So,
What is the overall limit for your program for graduates?
placement-wise, as many as come showing up at this point. I mean, I'm getting calls like you wouldn't believe, emails. Just had the Wolf Brothers in today, wondering, hey, do we have anybody in our shop? Anybody that wants a job in this, out of my program right now, had it, put it that way. And placement job as well as, I mean, these guys are, the companies they're at, they're like career companies. They're not, you know, a part-time thing. So I know all of my guys out on placement, we currently have 10, 11 out on placement. I think that's probably not traditional for our program. They're all, you know, staying at the job they're in after. Obviously, with the exception of these four, all four of these are on placement as well. But they're going to have to be going to CAT, so. Yes.
So what's the best adult diesel tech program in Northeast Ohio?
Now, come on. That's an unfair question. No. I'm going to say Owens. You know, that's where I went. And it really is just an amazing program. The instructors, it was interesting to see as these guys went to they've been to a few meetings at the school and everything already. And some of the same instructors from when I was there are still there. One of them's on my advisory, Randy Brugli. Just an amazing wealth of knowledge. UNOH is another really good one.
So where are those located?
Owens is Perrysburg area, like over near Toledo. UNOH is Lima area, University of Northwestern Ohio. It's another really good school. I've had them in.
And what do they, you know what they charge roughly?
UNOH compared to Owens?
For the adult programs?
I don't. It's similar.
So these guys are coming out with a similar training? Would you
Oh
say?
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. The difference
The difference
here
is they're
would
coming
be
out of high school,
right.
when these other
Oh, yeah.
kids are going to college after high school.
Right. The difference between this program and say some at UNOH or even the general program at Owens would be this is Caterpillar specific. Everything in that shop at Owens, Cat has bought and paid for. So it's their equipment, it's their shop. You're learning on their systems, you know, their diagnostics. So it's Cat specific, which UNOH does the same thing. You've got Cummins sponsored labs over there. You know what I mean? So that would be the only real difference would be, you know, they're on Cat specific machinery, you know, versus say a truck program with the Cummins lab or something like that. But
This is one of the reasons we flipped the curriculum from strictly commercial truck to diesel technology to provide these types of experience and opportunities with the heavy equipment and just branching them out into several different areas. And this is proof in the pudding that was a good idea.
yeah, for sure.
Do you think there's any kind of opportunity for an adult program connected to our facility?
For diesel technology,
Yeah.
I thought about that actually. I feel like even in the, more so, like in CDL training, would be a big one there, you know what I mean? As far as what we do on a high school level, yes, you know, especially with opportunities.
Because it seems like there's a lot of demand.
Huge demand right now. Huge demand. I think going forward, you know, for a long time it will be that way. As things head towards, you know, electric, infrastructure-wise, that's a whole another conversation, but diesels will obviously be the last of that industry to fold, you know what I mean, to go that route. So.
It's an interesting time. Do we have one more activity?
We do. So James was gonna, well, first of all, we did want to, you know, thank you. The CAT simulator, I'm sure you guys heard about, has been set up finally, right? We had a rep from Peoria, Illinois, from corporate out there where CAT's at, come and set it up. We wanted to thank the board for the purchase in our lab. And James was gonna ask a question.
Yeah, we'd like to welcome you guys to come check it out if you want, and see what.
He's gonna run it for you.
All right, you guys go down there, so we'll follow down.
All right.
All right, thank you so much. It was a wonderful presentation. Good use of our precious tax dollars to provide for our kids.
I look at it as a return on investment. If that was 80,000, 80 plus thousand, and we've got 4 young people that just got $20,000 scholarships, the return on investment in 6 months. It's perfect.
They're going to come out of that program.
And with the adult ed that looking to offer between the 18 and 24-year-olds, and what if we could open up that type of program for them.
That's what I was saying.
We're going to expand on that with CEO drivers. We got the drums and they break down with the kids. You think about these kids coming out of this program, people with a $50,000, $60,000 a year job, that's better than some college careers.
I did hear somebody mention in a conversation that the governor was looking to drop the age requirement for CDL to 18, right? Yes.
It is.
That was you, right? Okay. Lots of conversations about that. Because I had been doing some part-time work for a concrete company, and he said their biggest problem is they never CDL drivers.
Interstate is 18, intrastate is 21.
What's that?
Interstate in Ohio at 18, 21 to go out of state.
Okay, yes.
21 would be interesting to use Department of Transportation, that's changed that.
Well, I think that's such a great idea, because what I was telling Dennis, because what I was in a conversation with the VP of that concrete company is that, you know, you get them with their CDL, 18, 19, 20 years old, before they start drinking, because then they realize that, hey, I can't screw up, because that's my livelihood. And I just think it's a win-win.
A lot of people with CDL develop to drive.
Right? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like career goals.
Yep, a couple of my friends have them, and that's exactly it.
Thank you so much. As we return, we're going to go to number 6, the approval of the minutes. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the April 25th regular meeting? Mr. Gilliam, may I have a second, please? Ms. Cook, Mr. Ruska, is a second. Any comments or questions about the agenda from the last meeting? Last two. The one meeting. Roll call, please.
Mr. Gillingham?
Aye.
Mr. Ruska?
Aye.
Mrs. Dane?
Aye.
Mr. Noah?
Aye.
Mrs. Pritchard?
Aye.
Mrs. Ballard?
I need to abstain only because I wasn't here for March 28th. I was here for the work session, so I don't know. Can I have to vote? Have to pay? Aye.
Just say quickly, aye.
Mr. Kieran?
Yes.
Mr. Steiger? Aye. Mr. Mountain?
Hi, thank you so much. I have a question out of curiosity. We would have approved March 28th and the April 10th meeting.
No.
Did approve it?
Well, that's just a work session, so I would bring it.
Okay. Thank you so much. Number 7, treasurer's items of information. Thoughts?
Thank you, Mr. President. Under items for information is the finance projections. Just to let you know, we've received all of our real estate proceeds for the fiscal year. And in April this month, we did receive our rollback, homestead rollback reimbursement, which was over $700,000. For under our investments, with that $700,000 and some change, that was in our account. I was able to move $1.25 million to Star, Ohio. So we now have over $5.2 million in Star and $7.2 in U.S. Bank for our investments. Any questions? Moving on to treasurer's action items. Under item A is the monthly financials, financial statement, and monthly expenditures. And that's all I have. Do I have a motion?
I'll motion.
I'll second.
Any questions or comments for the treasurer of his two action items? None being raised, may we have roll call, please?
Mr. Kieran,
Yes.
Ms. Pritchard,
Aye.
Mrs. Dane,
Aye.
Mr. Gilligan,
Aye.
Mr. Guska,
Aye.
Mr. Noah,
Aye.
Mrs. Pavlik,
Aye.
Mr. Stiver,
Aye.
Mr. Mattson.
Aye, thank you so much.
Thank you, Vice President.
Number 9, can do superintendent's items for information. And we're going to separate out what is action. Yes, sir.
Okay, got to give you some thought processes on some of these things. So I'm going to give you an update on where we're at with several things. So let's go ahead and talk about, first off, the fire tower. So the fire tower, we submitted to Representative Sharon Ray, and she called me on Sunday night at 6:30 p.m. to let me know that the full funding for the $1.46 million had gone through the House of Representatives as one of the line items they're approving. She's not expecting the Senate to line veto it, and she says the governor will absolutely not line veto it. So we are most of the way there. They are going back into committee in the Senate and this next week, and so we'll know in the next week if we're going to get the fire tower, but it looks very, very, very good. So that's a positive. Sharon was almost beside herself. So fire tower, I just got the information. She told me about Sunday night. The report got released this morning about the House Commission. It's 691 pages is the budget, the governor's budget. There was, when the governor originally spoke, he put $200 million as a line item for growth for tech ed, and the Senate originally knocked that down to $100 million. The House of Representatives reinstituted it to $200 million. So with that $200 million, I am currently writing all of the information. I was with the architect for about, maybe 3 hours today, and we are finishing up all of the design work for construction trades. Keep in mind, with construction trades, I'm going to basically submit, we're thinking it's going to be right at $3.5 million for that project to do a standalone building. I'm going to give you the update of where that's going to go and everything. I have to have this submittal done by May 5th, the first of which Aaron walked over today, and you have to do a board resolution that the board is supporting our request for the CTE dollars. So keep in mind, these are two different things. One was part of the biennial budget. The other one is part of the CTE Grow Ohio initiative from the governor. Okay, fire towers alone. So I'm just making a separate submittal into that $200 million. So when we did construction trades currently sits right here. That's where the old greenhouses used to be, and that facility is where they've also got a staging area here and a small classroom here. They've got about 2/3 of this area here. The other third is the riser room for the fire suppression system, and then the electrical upgrades and stuff. So if you were to go into that construction trades lab right now, you would see that it's probably 50% too small. Keeping in mind, I went to I was at Brunswick, and I went to a rugby game on Thursday, and I was immediately hit by 3 parents whose kids did not get into our construction trades that I know. And I'm like, that's awkward for me. So I know that we have a great demand in construction trades. I'm going to give you more history than you want. When we switched to one program, at that time, Bill Schnur had a class called carpentry, and Dick Wagner had a class called building trades. They were at 13 and 12 combined. Like, one would have 13, one would have 12, and it was like clockwork for 20 years. When they both retired at the exact same moment, we went to the advisory council and said, do you want carpentry or do you want building trades? And they said, we want construction trades. We want them to be a jack of all trades, master of none. So we created the construction trades program. If you were to come into this lab, and Zach, you can speak to it, this lab's too tight because you have 2 kids or 3 students working on those house modules. It is way too tight. So I did the most unscientific thing I could possibly do. And I said, if I want to make this a double wide, how big does that need to be? Now, keeping in mind they have the staging area and they have this classroom here. So I blew it up to the size of a Post-it note. And I said, okay, if I have a Post-it note, how much too small are we? And I said, well, that theory room needs to be 50% bigger. and then double, because it's going to be a double wide. And then we need to also add room for the offices and the classrooms. So I think it's 4 times the size of this post-it note. So I did the most unscientific thing I could think of, and I just started going around the property. We cannot build anything on this side of the property. There is a wellhead, that is what this road is. It goes to a wellhead here that you can't see. It comes across here and across the front of the property. So going across the front of the property, which I would want to do anyway, would not be a thing. Coming across here, you have to stay 400 or 200 feet from the wellheads, and you can't put anything directly on top of the transmission line. So the first thought we had was just build it here in this parking lot. And then we're like, no, the teachers use that. And the real purpose of us putting that there was so that the patrons would have a nice, easy place to park. And so I was like, I can't do that. So then the next thing we started to do, and I will tell you, I was working with Laura Beach a little bit with this on the engineering piece. I thought back here, because we have that ability back there. The unfortunate thing about that is civil engineering. This has a specific pitch going there. This hill is designed in a very specific way, and I have no sewer, no water, no nothing out there. So civil engineering is going to be a problem there. Kept looking anywhere where I could find property. Just if you're curious, this is the fire tower. That building will stay. This will be torn down. The Connex boxes will be taken out, and the confined space rescue area will be there. It'll turn 90 degrees. There'll be a 4-car garage back here, and then the new fire tower all-in-one system will be here. So this property is all full go, full game. So, and their bus, their construction trades bus sits right here. So I took 4 pieces of paper, and hopefully it doesn't not let me do this, but give or take, it's not going to like it. My screen didn't like it either. There we go. That would be the lab. It would sit exactly with the front of this building. It's not like anything. That's fine. I'll take it off now. So it would sit back here. You can see it would be about 4 times that. It would have a similar parking space. I don't think it would detract from the exterior of the building. So the architect and I were working on that today because these need to be shovel-ready projects when you submit them. They are fiscal year 24, so that money comes July 1, the project needs to be done that year as well. So you have to be ready to go. So we're already getting ready. We're going to be ready to go to the planning commission because it's an exterior building, so the planning would be involved, the Medina City planning would be involved as well. So that's that update. So now let's switch over to, we can just get out of there. Any questions about fire tower? Questions about?
So about this location,
Yes, sir.
I might be wrong, but I thought that in maybe 4 or 5 years ago or something, we were talking about doing something with that area.
We're going to put a parking lot there.
And there was a drainage problem.
The only drainage I can think of is right through here. This has no issue.
No.
And down in the trench, down in where the road course was,
Okay.
that got washed out. No, I would have no concerns about this at all.
Okay.
It's a good question, but we were going to put the parking lot there until we got the overflow parking. And then he would do a little bit of a walkway. So now, what are we going to do with this? I'm going to start a new program, construction electricity, residential the junior year, commercial the senior year. And that's part of us working with the Ken Cleveland Foundation as well. So I've applied, I'm going to apply for the governor's, but Ken Cleveland is also still very, very much in the picture for all of this. So if I can get this fully funded at the $3.5 million and then get some equipment in there and then start the construction electricity program, we're going to go from turning out 25 HVAC techs, 25 construction trades kids a year to 50 construction trades, 25 construction electricity, and 25 HVAC, which when you look at the pipeline, there's 3 things to consider: student interest, education, placement availability, and all 3 need to be in a line. The problem right now is us. Student interest is there. 75 applied for construction trades, 36 applied for HVAC. The need's there. We don't have the space and the ability now yet to make that happen. And I can tell you, we can place every single one of these students in sustainable wage jobs for a very, very long time. And I don't think we would flood the market at all. So this is a good plan. Okay, let's switch over to MCC.
Years ago, there was an electrical program here, correct?
That was part of his building trades. So it was Dick Wagner's building trades. So the way I could describe it is, and it was kind of a dual thing. Bill Schnur's carpentry class was all the stuff you could see, you know, the carpentry. And then Dick Wagner's was the building trade, so he did the plumbing, the electric, the internal structure stuff. But there was certainly a lot of overlapping between the two, so that one would do, like, you wouldn't think that Dick Wagner would be the one that did our roof on the bus barn, but his class did. So there was kind of some weird overlapping.
Mr. President, so we had some discussion on timelines. So it's middle to the state, they'll make a decision by June, correct? Or,
I believe that to be correct.
Okay.
So I have to submit by May 5th, and I think their deadline for return is June 30th.
for the fiscal year July 1st.
For a fiscal year, July 1.
So then we also had some conversation with Mr. Watts about, because this program is important, we need it, and what happens if we don't get the money from the state? How can we do this, considering our financial situation? So I mean, we touched with Mr. Watts, all our projects are done through the building, and how we would pay for that.
So there's a variety, I mean, we're not going to go with the taxpayers, I just have no interest in doing that at all. We said we wouldn't do it, and I don't think we need to do it. So I'll let Aaron speak to it a little bit. It's hard to have confidence in saying that we're going to get the money, but we're going to make the application. They can only, that $200 million can only go to CTPD, which is Career Technical Planning Districts. There's only 66 of us out there, so that are similar to what we're doing. And you have to be ready to go immediately. And there's some other things associated with that. It can't be for various things. So I feel confident we'll get either from there or a large sum of money from Ken Cleveland, but if not, I think we would have to save the money over at least a year or two, but there are ways that you can do bonds and purchase different things or take low loans. I am not the expert in that. I would have to totally turn it over.
We had this discussion during our superintendent treasurer bi-weekly meeting. We actually talked about options for this.
So some of the options we have, the one thing I was looking at right away was bond anticipation note. It's called BAN. Tax anticipation note, that's just what it is, a tax anticipation note. The other one is a certificate of participation, we call it COPS. Typically, it's a higher interest, but it's an investment by a group of people for your project, 10-year life, payable, but there's costs to that. There's costs to all those. So in a COPS deal, you have to get issuance and you're out on the market. The other thing that came to mind, and this is kind of what I'm leaning towards, is it's called a direct placement. Basically a loan with the bank. You're talking about costs that might range from $108,000 to $55,000, which is much cheaper than a COPS deal for us. So I'm leaning towards that right now. The lead time on that is minimal. It's not that long at all. So we have plenty of time. We have good relationships with the banks. So it's a matter of what we want to do. We can do a 3.5 for 5 years or 10 years. My position was I want to take the sales tax dollar proceeds that we receive each year and repay whatever we borrow. So it's really no money coming from us at all. It would be coming from the sales tax dollars. Now, the legality of that, I have to double check with the sales tax budget commission, but I think it's feasible because it is going towards capital improvement.
So we have old Mr. Chrisman and has talked about the needs for this. We're hearing the construction trades. If we don't get the money by June and then we wait a whole year, you got another year after that before you can get kids in. We can be 3 years down the road before we see kids in the classroom. But I think as a board, we need to start talking. I mean, the needs now, not 3 years from now. So we need to talk about it. We have the ability to do this. I think if we went through the numbers, we could do it ourselves. Because we've got no more projects to build and pay for over 3 or 4 years ourselves. So it's something that we've got to be all watching for in June. And then we're going to have a discussion in July. You'll have the plans, architectural stuff ready to go. And it's just a matter of pulling the trigger if this is what we want to do and we want to build something.
So he's, next month, similar to the fire tower, if you remember about 2 or 3 months ago, we did the fire tower architectural design fees and everything else like that. We do something similar that probably next month, he's gonna give us a proposal for architectural fees. We'll approve that, but not approve to go out to bid until kind of the dust settles. But by then, we might also have the award, and we would just go ahead and go out to bid.
And we have a real good advocate for us, Sharon Wright.
She's off the charts right now.
For the first time, and so it's really good. But the Ken Cleveland money, that's not for construction. The Ken Cleveland, we fill the contents of it.
No, it could be for construction. At first, they were not there, and then I convinced them that the building is a tool to turn out more people. And I said, we're going to go, and Christy was part of that luncheon as well, but we said, that first day, that's all they wanted to do was talk about the furnishings or scholarships. And I said, you don't understand, Ken Cleveland's foundation states that they want to make an impact to the trades. What's a bigger impact to the trades than 50 more students going out into the trades than we had before? And I can't do that without structure. And I framed it around, I didn't flip this building and make this because I'm in love with this building. We did this because it provides opportunities for students that they would not otherwise have. And so took some convincing, but I think they're there.
So the next couple of months, we're going to be talking about this in our mind, how we might proceed.
If we can get the 1.5 of the fire tower, we're halfway there. I mean, that's a huge, huge piece right there.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. So let's talk MCUC. So I did get another invite to go out to MCUC. Again, I've never been through the cupboards. I did this time. So it was Dennis, myself, and Chris Kalina all toured through the MCUC. It was their president, the president, and then his chief of staff, and then the regional director for their satellite campuses, and then the person that's over that specific campus, and then some auxiliary people as well. When we went in there, it was Monday from 9 to 11:30, and there were 3 cars in the lot. One belonged to the tech director, one belonged to a full-time secretary, and one belonged to the maintenance custodial guy. They only had 10 classes run this entire year.
Not 10 classes, but 10 individual 40-minute classes, so 400 minutes it was used.
And so the president clearly had never been there, and
This is the president of the University of Akron?
Yes, sir. Yeah, they brought the big guns, and so we met at MCUC. He had never been there, but he's new. But he was brought in from out of state. Sharon Ray told me he was brought in from out of state with the explicit purpose of cutting budgets. And they have 3 satellite campuses. They have one in Lakewood, which is it's pretty small. They have the MCUC, and then they have one in Oregon. So those are their 3 campuses. He started by saying, Sharon Ray said that there's extreme need. We're turning away students. We're having some troubles with things. And we don't want to see any more students turned away. And so that started the conversation. And his first comment to us before he had walked around was, we are a public institution providing public education, and currently we are not fulfilling our mission. He said we've thrown, and Dennis, correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, but he said we've thrown 3 initiatives collectively at all 3 campuses, and all have failed. The lady who's in charge of that right now said that is in charge of MCUC, used to be Denise Testa. She has since moved on to something else. So they put the lady that was in charge of Oroville. She was also going to be in charge of MCUC, and her comment was, I haven't even been here in several months because I just go to the one that's close to my house. The president's walking around and goes, this is a brand new building. I said, yeah, it doesn't have that lived in look yet. Excuse me, Colleen Swayden was with us as well, so county commission. He said he was committed to us for a long-term deal, and whatever that meant. I asked him how much that would cost. And his comment back to me was, that's the weeds of the matter, but we're going to make it happen. And he looked at his director and he said, you need to make something happen here. And he goes, that's a directive. I didn't know that until today. Today I had a meeting with Sheriff Grice and Colleen Swaydick. Colleen said that when she was in the elevator with the president, that as they were going down in the elevator, he looked at her and goes, it would be more valuable put to the ground than what we've done with it. And so I'm putting together talking points, and Colleen and I met. Sheriff Grice would like to have the Big Bay area, which was where we would do the law enforcement academy, and a classroom next to it. And he was another classroom for training. There's 8 classrooms there. there's no infrastructure by which you could move. I would like to move several adult ed things out there. Their anatomy physiology lab, their surge tech lab are second to none. The surge tech lab is in pristine condition, and they've never even run a course out of it yet. Their medical lab is in pristine condition, never even run a lab out of it. And the only lab that they were using was the one that's a chemistry, anatomy, physiology lab, and it has only been used for 45 minutes that week. So I said what I would like to do is put our law enforcement academy out there, take a lot of our adult ed and put it out there, and the low-hanging fruit would be to do the law enforcement academy immediately. I'm putting together talking points. Colleen is working with me on those, and I'm going to just see if they'll do a long-term lease, 15 years, give it to us for $1 a year. So Colleen and I were working on that today. I have no idea where that's going to go, but I can tell you the president, he's walking around and he was like, he says, I was told it was underutilized, not empty. And so he was, I think disgusted is a fair word.
His background, I looked up his background before we got there, and wanted to do a little research on him. His background was in Washington, Wisconsin, and he worked on collaboration between high schools, career tech, and STEM programs and colleges. So his heart's in that working with high school students. He was very supportive. And actually, we talked about the 18 to 23 at the time. He just, everybody at the table said, that's huge.
The things we could move out there, we could not move out HVAC, welding, anything that has any substantial load to it. Their infrastructure would not support it in any way, shape, or form. So you could put phlebotomy out there. I mean, that would be an easy one. Law Enforcement Academy. And some people may not know, less than 500 yards from there is where the sheriff's put him in his firing range. So it's all makes a lot of sense. So that's where we're at with that. Any more questions about any one of those 3 projects?
So that would be a partial use of the facility, right?
Don't know that.
I mean, what is your envision?
My envision is different than when I had it. I think I would like to reach out to him Monday, exactly what Colleen and I are working on today. We're going to talk about talking points, and I'm going to throw out there. I'll take over the building. I'll lease it from $1 a year, and I'll take over the cost of the snow removal and the grass cutting and everything else like that. But I want to lease it for $1 a year and see if it sticks. The worst thing you can do is say no. Right now, it's bleeding like it said.
So they weren't in a position, I think, at this time that they would give us the building. Mr. Christmas said to me 3 times, possession is 9/10 of the law. And if we fill up all the classrooms with our kids, how do you do this out? And they understand that it has to be a long-term commitment from them to us. Because once we start a program, we can't stop them. They can't come in and say, 3 years I'm going, we need the building back. Once we're in, we have to, we're done with it.
The Hill building, we would call it squatters' rights.
Yep.
So, any questions about any one of those 3 things? Labor, but I'm going to tell you the next. This is all my focus. I've had almost no other focus for the last 8 weeks. Because that's how much effort it's taking. I mean, you're figuring we're going to the state for over $5.5 million, and we're working with the University of Akron to take possession of one of their assets. This is a workload I've not seen before. But it could be leaving a legacy we can't fathom.
And there's going to be a trade-off because the college president said, every kid that comes here is going to get a zip style from Akron University. We have agreements with the University of Akron, articulation agreements.
Every one of our program has through it. They can get up to 30 hours if they get all of their certifications in the program, and that 30 hours will be towards their ATS, Associates in Technical Studies.
So there's some skin in the game for them to be associated with us to allow our kids there. We can get it for free, but it's close as possible.
It was a very productive meeting, to say the least.
Thank you, sir. Next we have lead course of study.
Courses of study, they're here if you would like to look at them. There's 3 HVAC, graphic arts, media production. All of them are on a 5-year schedule. Student handbook is there for your review. I don't necessarily need to go into it too much. We do have a handbook committee that is spearheaded by Christy now, and it's made up of teachers, administration, and our SROs in there as well. Student fees are being presented. I do have the book if anybody's curious what goes into each student fee. I did bring the book so you can see some of the things that are associated with each one of those things. And I'm going to stop at principal's report and put her on the spot. So if we could open up specifically the principal's report, and Ms. Domas, will you go to the front and kind of talk about the principal's report a little bit?
No problem.
So if you're curious, Jeff Hicks is with the Skills USA students.
Yes.
Christy and I were fortunate enough to do the animal care field trip, and Jeff is doing the skills field trip, and Tad and Kelly were both out sick today, so Kelly was the administrative team.
I took over, it was a Dovis Day, we call those, and it was nice. I had Dr. Engelhardt, Mr. Butts, Mr. Crippen, they all helped with lunch duties today to help me out, and so I do really appreciate everybody popping in and make sure everybody was good, and everybody was. Oh, I know, Mr. Butts was there too, yeah. So it was definitely still a team effort, even though we're a little bit short-staffed. But I want to make sure I share this for Mr. Hicks. We always have a lot going on, as you guys know. National Technical Honor Society, that's the first thing. We actually have our ceremony on Thursday, so please come if you can. It's always a really nice ceremony celebrating these students. We have a lot of great students at 7 o'clock.
This Thursday?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, people have probably some cookies.
Yes.
But these students, we have a lot of great students here, as you guys know, but these students are selected in with our committee, and it is an intense committee. Not only do they have to have good grades, they have to be involved in their community, in their labs, in their jobs. So there's a whole process here. So they got selected through that, and then also our staff member is Mr. Shaughnessy. That is selected by our students. Mr. Shaughnessy is awesome, and he has a high level of trust with the students. He is a person that a lot of them go to, so that is why he's been selected, and he's done a lot of different roles at the Career Center, so he definitely deserves it. So we have that going on. We had our Greats program here. That's basically any non-traditional students who enroll in our Career Tech program. Tina Dane came and spoke, and I heard it was awesome, and we're already trying to think of where we can sign you up to speak again, just so you know. So thank you so much for your time, and we do really appreciate that.
So we got feedback. I don't mean to interrupt.
No, you're fine.
There was something interesting. Two of the young ladies came back because they filled out a exit interview. How did it go? Two of them, and it's something for us to think about. They were so moved by what you had said. They said, we wish we would have had that in October or November of our junior year and not in April of our senior year. So we thought we were going to flip-flop that speaking to
And then you just have, the next thing on there is a copy of, we got our certification in diesel. This is a lot of work from what I understand, so that was exciting that we got that. We had our blood drive going on that runs pretty smoothly with Mr. Yarko. Top scholar, our top scholar was Susie Bukowski from Highland from engineering, so that kind of mentions that. Mr. Hicks and Mr. Chrisman got to attend the Armed Forces commitment ceremony that was at Brunswick. I hear it was wonderful. There was 11 students that made the oath of enlistment during that. So that's what I have going on.
And an introduction.
On my introduction here in the back of the room, this is Mr. Knapp, David Knapp. He went through kind of a rigorous process. We had over 60 applicants for our assistant principal opening, and I'll tell you, we had really great applicants. Ms. Ellis, Mr. Hicks, and I spent 2 evenings going through and looking at every single application, doing our river even before we got to the interview process. We ended up interviewing 7 individuals, and David rose to the top. We're very excited. I have my little notes to make sure I don't mess up. He comes to us from Parma. He's been in education for 19 years. He was a middle school math teacher. He's been in administration for 10 years. His latest title was deputy principal over there. He lives in the Buckeye School District. He has one son that is going to be in middle school in the Buckeye District next year, and his wife teaches at Polaris in a nursing program, right? Okay, so that's the summary. I don't know if you guys have any questions. I'm really excited to have him as a team, and I certainly have to have another person coming on.
Thank you all. Very excited. Thank you.
And Adult Ed Director's report. Janice, anything you would highlight?
Firefighter courses, just wanted to give a shout out there. Tim is running 3 on extra classes this year based on demand from departments. So we actually, this has changed. What do we have now, 14 or 15? Firefighter 2 starts Monday. Tim asked if we could even leave it open through Thursday this week, so that could still increase. So that's been great. As you can see, I put up there the departments that are sending. Again, reaching outside the county there with Rittman. We have Hudson in the fall. They're not joining us for this round, but I think they're talking about doing Firefighter 2 next year with us. So that's really awesome. The Easter cookie class, you saw that on Facebook. We did get to run one of those classes. And for fun, I know that some of you were asking about those PT testing requirements. That's on page 2. So I did include those in case you wanted to try out for the academy. You can see how you can make it because it is fun. I mean, it is fun to see like what are those requirements. We currently have 6 that have passed and are good to go, and we are running PT tests every other Saturday through June. PT boot camp, again, I can't say enough about Tina Singletary and Doug. They do it, they volunteer their time. Every Tuesday and Thursday they are offering PT boot camp to get these people ready. So they volunteer their time and that's awesome. So again, Doug feels good about getting our numbers. Again, we've got some people that are finishing classes at different universities, so they haven't been able to come for the PT because they're attending college. So anyhow, if you see if you can make the mark, come on out. We'll let you just do it for fun too. I won't even make you pay the $225. How's that? And again, the pinning ceremony for medical programs. We're going to hold that out at Western Reserve Masonic Community in their community room. That will be on Monday, June 26th. If you would like to mark your calendars for that, I know an invitation will be coming. And then I know that this was on last month, but just a reminder, we're doing our award ceremony on 29th. So, thank you.
Janice, thank you so much for this. 2 things. One is this PT list.
Yep.
Ain't nothing. Chuck and I were in the academy. To graduate, you had to take a cruiser, 100 yards with a trooper sitting in there. You didn't stop. Did you touch a cruiser? I had a touch a cruiser. This is nothing. So, thank you so much. And the second thing is, Janice and her team were excellent partners in talking about the adult education expansion program. We really put some thought into it, and I know we have some presentation on this. And it's Mary that was taking notes. Let's take steno, and every word that I said, she wrote down. And it was great, and Mr. Chris said, don't write that down. So, very good. Thank you so much.
Before we move on to the action items, can I ask Mr. Christmas this, the fee structure? I know this is just a thing, but I'm not comfortable with the full aid academic fees of $50, and when you sent me some of the individuals, it doesn't add up to that. But I also like to know, how do you know miscellaneous fees a year in advance? I mean, miscellaneous fees means something that will come up at the last minute. Like one class is $27.75 miscellaneous, another one 35, a couple 35s, and it's some none at all. What is considered miscellaneous? And why are we charging for books?
They're the ones that the students would keep. If they are paying for the book, it's because they're keeping it. Animal care and management, let me find one that has miscellaneous materials. Animal care 2, a miscellaneous material would be their, every student pays $9 senior for their career passport. So it's a leather-bound portfolio. So that would be the miscellaneous materials that didn't fall into any one of those categories for animal care 2.
What about automotive collision, 1 or 2?
Auto collision 1 and 2 miscellaneous materials. Auto collision 1 miscellaneous materials for 1. It comes to $27.75. They get pencils, 3-ring binders, highlighters, ballpoint pens, zipper rings, several safety glasses, padlock combos, earplugs, and earbuds. So that comes to $27.75. All of that is purchased through Ritter's. For two, their per passport's $9. Pencils, binders, highlighters, pens, safety glasses again, because they do break from one year to the next. Padlocks, earbuds, and earbuds.
So, go ahead. Well, I have a question on that. Is typically at the high school, the students provide their own notebooks, pens, pencils, different things like that. Have you found this to be a more effective way to make sure that
It's a universal way, because they all look the same, feel the same, and we can get it much cheaper than the students can by buying them both through theirs. I mean, like a 3-ring binder for us is $4.
Okay. I mean, I get it. To me, that makes sense.
The biggest positive I can say about the student fees this year is in an era when basically the stuff has hit the fan for everything, we only went up in student fees 2% collectively on the whole, which our teachers have been told to keep it as high as they can.
Okay.
And we've been doing that for the last several years with Code League, where we buy in bulk. The parents don't have to go out and do different purchases. Everything is uniform, any and all equipment that you're going to use, any and all classroom teachings that you're going to use. And the savings, the initial savings was $38 per student the very first year. And it's just a fantastic program. We have parents ask us, are you going to continue to do this? Yes, we're going to continue to do this. It's such a fantastic program.
Do you even do that at the lower grade levels?
Yes.
And to me, I guess I struggle with that because part of the whole back to school excitement is, there's kids going out, you go out to school shopping, and it helps to get them to remain invested and to get excited about going to school.
Well, like when you purchase like glue sticks and colored crayons and this and that, well, some kids may have, they might buy 10 of them. You use 1 or 2 because they either don't lose them or they, the class doesn't use what they have. So that comes off their fee. Like this year here, we took several things off because we had a bulk of extra ones, okay? The student interest and everything else is part of the program is they get free backpacks and everything else. Well, they come to the elementary school and they shop. And they've got their list of what they need to buy, what they can, what they can get from the school. And they do the picking of what they want. They pick the color binders they want, the color tablets they want, the book bags that they want. So the student experience is there.
Okay.
But it's all at the elementary school, and everyone can be involved. Board, they can meet their teachers, they can meet future classmates, they can interact and they can see the building. So it's extremely nice, and the parents they love it, and the kids just,
It sounds like
they're elated.
Okay, that definitely makes me feel better. It sounds like there was a lot of thought put into that and to make it like that experience.
The real
for the
world
kids.
experience, every kid does have that opportunity to go with mom or dad, go to Walmart, pick up the stuff. That's not the real world for a lot of their kids, unfortunately.
Right.
And I did pull Medina City's, just out of curiosity, several of their things, and even they have academic fees throughout the high school, even elementary school, they're about $50 all the way kindergarten through 6th grade.
When I got your update, I asked Christine Long about it, and she said that when they were reading a certain book for a class, that what the guy has done is said, you must have this book. Now, some parents say, oh, I want to put it on a Kindle, I can get it cheaper on Amazon. So as long as the kid has a book, and then if they get one from us, as long as they don't write in it, then they turn it back in. But so, I mean, I did, check that out, and she said that as far as like, quote, academic fees, I mean, for like English class or that, are really not any of those.
I have to go back and look, because I think my kids had Spanish fees.
That's, I'm English.
Oh, sorry. I can say, perspective, my kid paid $600 for criminal justice, and that included all of his uniforms and everything this year. And we are at $990 for athletics at Medina. So he only goes to Medina for athletics, and this fee there is $990. His career path here was $600.
You're very Catholic. kids have to pay for their own passport?
I think it's illegal to give them something that they're, I mean, the diplomas and stuff, that career passport is a leather-bound portfolio that they get to keep forever. And I'm not sure you're allowed to get things that they're allowed to keep on themselves like that.
Is that different than the cover that, like, the Medina gets or the high school?
It's not even close.
Okay.
The career passport is a leather-bound portfolio that is every bit as thick as this, with sleeves to capture all of their certifications. Chuck's son, I'm sure, got one. It's got their name engraved on it. It's got the school on it. It's fully ready. All they do is they walk in and hand it. It's so much so. This is ironic that you asked. Last week I got a call from it's a sergeant with the Cincinnati Police Department, and he said, "We got a high school student that's bringing in a portfolio. I've never seen anything like it. Where did it come from?" And so we did talk to him. And the irony is, my college roommate is Sean Woods, and he's on the K-9 unit there. He was his first boss, so that was kind of a cool catch-up for us.
Now, I have a question, because Gina and I had talked about this a little earlier today, and the list from like the English department, and it has like a book of $12. Now, with the Ohio Revised Code, it's written that the school district needs to cover the cost for the books used in the classroom.
Unless they get to keep it.
And are these books then, you're saying these books are the ones that the student keeps?
Yes.
But they don't want to.
I donated mine when my kids were done back to Project Learning.
I mean, I'm just saying,
To save the cost, you said.
yeah, I mean, I just want to borrow the book for when I'm using it in class, and I don't want it. I mean, I don't want to keep Tale of Two Cities. I read it once, I don't want to do it again. Actually, I didn't read it once, it was so boring. But anyways, I mean, you know, these kids don't have a lot of money to begin with, and then we're tacking on all these different fees.